On the day. Hotep. Hey, this is Michael M. Hotep, founder of the African History Network, host of the African History Network show. I'm a talk show host, researcher, lecturer, writer, and historian. So it is Sunday, August 14th, 2022, and we are live. I just coming on here for a few minutes just to talk about this 10-week online class that I teach on SAYS. From the Civil War to the Civil Rights Movement and Black Power, 1865 to 1968. And I'm getting ready to teach a session of this class in a few minutes at our online school. So you can register for the 10-week online class and you can join us there. We're going to start at about 2:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time today. I do a PowerPoint presentation. We have book references, articles, video clips. We have a ton of information. And I'm about to pull up the PowerPoint presentation here to show you briefly some of what we cover in the class. And we deal with, we start in 1830 with the Louisiana Purchase, okay? And we deal with history chronologically to understand what happened to us after slavery ended and what were the laws and policies put in place to put us in the predicament that we're in today. We have to understand this history chronologically, understand what happened to us, okay? So we look at the Louisiana Purchase. We know that the Haitian Revolution and the Louisiana Purchase are connected. The Haitians are fighting against the French. We know that France goes almost bankrupt fighting against the Haitians. So France sells the 828,000 square miles of land that they have here in the land that we call the United States. They sell that to the U.S. for $15 million, okay? And when we look at this map here, we see in the middle that green Louisiana Purchase territory, okay? And so what this does is this causes an increase in the need for slave labor in these states, because the U.S. is going to carve out about 15 states out of the land that they get from France. And in the those territories where they have slavery is going to increase the need for more African slaves as well. So we go throughout history chronologically, and we look at what leads to the U.S. Civil War. We look at things like the Missouri Compromise of 1820, which was designed to organize the land that the U.S. gets from the Louisiana Purchase, okay? We look at the Mexican-American War, 1846 to 1848. We look at the Kansas-Nebraska Act of 1854, and the Mexican-American War. The U.S. is going to get, because of what's known as the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo of 1848, which ends the Mexican-American War. The U.S. is going to get the land that makes up California, Arizona, New Mexico, Colorado, Utah, and Nevada. They get all that land from Mexico. Mexico loses about a third of their territory. This is one of the reasons why there's animosity between some Mexicans and the U.S. today. Okay, we will talk about things like the Texas Revolution of 1836, and then Texas becoming a state in the Union in 1845. We look at the Kansas-Nebraska Act of 1854, which also, in what this does, this allows popular sovereignty, and this allows those who live in those territories, Kansas and Nebraska, to determine whether or not they want to have slavery, as opposed to it being predetermined to them by the federal government. And this is going to infuriate a lot of abolitionists, okay, like Frederick Douglass. And what happens is as a result of the Kansas-Nebraska Act of 1854, the Republican Party is going to be founded to be a counter to the Democratic Party, and it's founded by groups of abolitionists as a result of the Kansas-Nebraska Act of 1854. We'll look at things like Manifest Destiny. We'll look at the U.S. Civil War, 1861, 1865, what leads to the Civil War taking place. We go through and analyze the U.S. Civil War as well, and look at the fact that Lincoln was not an abolitionist also, because Lincoln, his main focus was to keep the Union together, not to free the slaves. The Emancipation Proclamation is going to change the course of the U.S. Civil War. We'll look at the Reconstruction Era, okay? And there's a very good article that we deal with in the class. We go through and analyze in the class from Time Magazine. And the name of this article is A new report finds that 45 states are failing to teach students about the period that shaped race relations after the Civil War. Okay, so this article came out January 12th, 2022. Okay, this came out 6 days after the January 6th, 2020, a year and 6 days after the January 6th, 2021 insurrection. The article says in the aftermath of insurrection a year ago at the U.S. Capitol, many leading historians drew parallels between the violence and the Reconstruction era, the period of political revolution directly following the American Civil War. The events we saw reminded me. Now, this is historian Eric Foner speaking, Pulitzer Prize winning historian Eric Foner speaking. What we do in this class is also we tie all this history together. We tie this history together with what's going on today, because the voter suppression that we see today has its roots in the Civil War and the Reconstruction era, and after Reconstruction, when the voting rights of African-American men are being reversed in their rewriting the state constitutions, imposing poll taxes and literacy tests, like in Mississippi in 1890. Okay, so the events we saw reminded me very much of the Reconstruction era and the overthrow of Reconstruction, which was often accompanied or accomplished, I should say, by violent assaults on elected officials. We see this throughout the Reconstruction period of time, 1865 to 1877. Eric Foner, Pulitzer Prize winning historian and author of the book Reconstruction, America's Unfinished Revolution, 1863 to 1877. He said this in an interview with the New Yorker published a week later. New Yorker magazine published a week later. Now, scholars say studying the aftermath of the Civil War can help put in context many of the most seminal events in the U.S. in recent years, from the brutal murder of George Floyd by police in 2020 to voter suppression laws enacted by Black voters, enacted after Black voters played a big role in helping Joe Biden and Kamala Harris be elected president and vice president in 2020. But despite, now pay attention to this piece right here, this part right here, but despite the timeliness of the era in today's climate, many students will not get a full, many students in American schools will not get a full education on Reconstruction until they get to college. Many students in American schools will not get a full education Reconstruction era until they get to college. Okay, this is why this is so critical. So in social studies standards for 45 out of 50 states in the District of Columbia, discussion on Reconstruction is partial or non-existent, according to historians who reviewed how the period is discussed in K-12 social studies standards for public schools nationwide. In a report produced by the education nonprofit, the Zen Education Project, and we use some of their resources in our class, some of their articles in the classes I teach. The study's authors say they are concerned that American children grow up to be uninformed about a critical period of history that helps explain why full racial equality remains filled today. Reconstruction, the end of Reconstruction, violence that was brought about to end Reconstruction, the compromise of 1877 between the Democrats and the Jim Crow era that takes place after Reconstruction ends, and we go through and deal with this in the class. All this is directly related to what's going on right now today. Okay, so this online history class that I teach, from the Civil War to the Civil Rights Movement and Black Power, 1865 to 1968. We have the link here in the thread of the broadcast. You can register for it right now. It's a 10-week online class. We do the sessions live. All the sessions are archived and recorded. You can go back and watch it anytime. We have the information also on the homepage of our website, theafricanhistorynetwork.com, theafricanhistorynetwork.com. So you can scroll down and you can scroll down and read. You can scroll down and we have the information there. So our Saturday class is Ancient Kemet, the Moors, and the Ma'afa, Understanding the Transatlantic Slave Trade, what they didn't teach you in school. Normally do the class 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Saturdays and Sundays. We run a little late today. I was up. I got to bed like 4 a.m. I was up editing video from last Sunday's show, and then ran into technical difficulty, so I had to get on the chat support with the Corel Video Studio help desk because I'm having problems with the being able to make a master copy of the video for last Sunday's show. But this is the class here from the Civil Rights Movement and Black Power, 1865 to 1968. We also have a bundle pack where you can register for both of these classes for only $100. That's over a $300 value because we have the classes greatly discounted right now. And we do the sessions live. All the sessions are archived and recorded. You can go back and watch them anytime. Okay. So we deal with everything from Special Field Order number 15. We deal with 40 acres and the Mule. We go through and look at this crucial period of history chronologically. We look at Juneteenth as well and separate fact from fiction with Juneteenth. Last class, we looked at the Dred Scott case, 1857, okay? Dred Scott decision, 1857, and we see that the U.S. Constitution plays a role there. We look at Reconstruction Amendments, 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments to the U.S. Constitution. We go through and look at different parts of the Constitution as well, okay? Go through and break this down. And then we look at the what leads to the Reconstruction Era ending, okay? We look at the Ku Klux Klan Act of 1871, which allowed, and President Ulysses S. Grant is going to declare martial law in October of 1871 in 9 counties in South Carolina, okay, to crack down on the Ku Klux Klan. The Freedmen's Bureau, the Freedmen's Bank, all this history. We go through and look at the Jim Crow era. We look at World War I, World War II, Civil Rights Movement, and Black Power Movement to understand this history chronologically and what happened to us after slavery ended. What were the laws and policies put in place so we can better understand where we need to go from here, how we got to where we are today so we can better understand where we need to go from here. Lastly, if you don't think this history is important, take a look at this article from August 10th, 2022. This came out Wednesday, August 10th, 2022, after Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago, after the FBI served a search warrant on Monday to retrieve classified documents he was not supposed to have. Historians privately warned Biden that America's democracy is teetering. When Biden met with historians last week at the White House, they compared the threat facing America to the pre-Civil War era and to pro-fascist movements before World War II, okay? Washington Post, this is very timely. This all history is a current event. Everything that ever happens continues to happen in some shape, form, or fashion. We're still dealing with the repercussions of the Civil War and the Reconstruction Era. These are historians who had a private meeting for about 2 hours with President Biden to deal with this type of history. Okay, so a lot of this we're going to deal with in this class. So you can register for it right now. We have the link here in the thread of the broadcast and in the description. I got to jump out of here. I have to go teach the class right now. We do the sessions live. All the sessions are archived and recorded. You can use this information with your children. You can watch the class anytime, a year from now, 2 years from now. After the class is over with, you'll still have full access, okay? So we'll talk to you later, and my radio show will be on tonight, the African History Network show, on 9:10 a.m. Superstation WFDF, and then right here on Facebook and YouTube as well. The African History Network on Facebook and Michael Imhotep on YouTube. All right, register for the class. We'll see you in the classes at our online school. It's not on social media. Right now, it's correct wrong behavior. It's not over till we win. Wakanda forever. And this also helps to support the research that we do at the African History Network, support the radio show, etc. Right now, it's correct wrong behavior. It's not over till we win.